Welcome to the National Center for Advocacy and Recovery. Our website is www.ncaar.org. On this screen, it's the advocacy page. You can go through other parts of the website as well, but there's a lot of information on the advocacy page. And if you're interested in getting involved, you can actually sign up through the page right here. So we had a bill club, and we noticed that there were a lot of people that attended the bill club who were interested in legislation but had never been on the website and didn't know how to navigate it. It's fairly simple. I suggested you go through the website once you get used to, or you get onto it, start going through and looking at it because there's a lot of information there. So let's go on and see how we can navigate it. So the website is njleg.state.nj.us. If you search it, it's very easy just to search New Jersey Legislature and it will come up. There's a lot of information, as I said, on this website. The very first thing you want to do is kind of get used to the tabs up here and what's available in these tabs. So this really gives you a lot of the basic information about what happens with the state and, where the different parts of the legislature. So I'm not going to go through all this because, like I said, there's plenty of here to go through and to look at. And I think that's really important that you kind of go through it a little bit. So the very first thing we want to do is find out, where your district is. Who are your elected officials? How do you reach them? So we'll go to the district map just to let you look at the map itself. I'm going to go to the most recent map. Okay. So I'm going to use my own district as an example. And my district is a good one to use because I actually in a strange area as far as addresses. So it's very important that you put the right address in. So I live in Cape May County down here. So the next thing you do is you look through all this is you can put your address in to find out where you are exactly. So we'll go back to this. So you enter your address, and I can put in, say, fix it. Okay. All right. So these are I am in District 1. These are the legislators in my district. So you can go in, if you can actually email them from here. You can get information about where they are and how to reach them. This is our information. This is where their office is located, where you can reach out to them. And there's also an office in Cape May Courthouse. You can go, and the other thing it does tell you is he is the majority whip. That's a good information to have. It tells you what kind of committees he's on, which are also very important. Judiciary is a very important one for us, and budget and appropriations is also very important. It will also give you a list of bills that he has sponsored and his votes. So it's all very important information. It is, you can look at all of your legislators or your elected officials through here. So we've got 2 assemblymen and a senator in District 1. Okay. So the next thing that we want to do, so we know who our legislators are, but what if we wanted to just talk about like what bills are out there, what we're interested in. Okay, we could do a bill search. So a bill search can be done by, if you have a bill number, which sometimes when we're on Bill Club, we actually talk about specific bills, so we can actually look up a bill. So make sure that you always want to make sure you're in the right session. So you can go back pretty far to see all the different bills that have gone through different sessions. So let's say we're going to go, we've already looked this up before, so I'm going to look it up again. S3846. And then we submit it. And that's all you need to put in there. You also could do it by keywords, which we'll try that too, but let's start with that. S3846 is about the expungement status, which we talked about at the bill club. So this is a very interesting bill that we are supporting. When you go in, you click on that number and you can see all the information about that bill. So you see who's sponsoring it. This bill does not have any co-sponsors yet. So this is something that we're pushing for, is to get co-sponsors for this bill. It tells you when it was introduced and then where it is. So it was referred to the Senate Judiciary Committee. Remember, I mentioned that was a very important committee that my legislator is part of. Just it's referred, but it hasn't been heard yet. So that's an important thing to watch because it hasn't been referred since October of 28. So this is something that we could make a call and say, hey, why isn't this referred? Or we can make calls to other legislators and saying, why aren't you sponsoring this bill? I want you to sponsor this bill. This is a PDF of the bill. It gets very complicated with these bills. So you can go through the whole thing if you'd like, or you can also go to the end of the bill where it gives you a statement. And this basically tells you everything that's in the bill. So it's a good way to get an idea of what this bill is about. And we did look at all of this when we were in the bill club. So this bill has a lot of information in it. It's good to know, good to be able to find it. One of the other things that this tells you is that this bill, I'll get out of this. This bill does not have a companion bill, which is really important. So it's in the Senate. This bill's from the Senate, but there's nothing in the Assembly, which means even if it passed the Senate, it'd have to be introduced in the Assembly, and then it would have to go to a committee in the Senate, in the Assembly, and pass that committee. Then it would go to the full House for a vote, and then after both the Senate and the Assembly bills that are companions, once they both pass their committees, they would go to the governor or their house, the House, they would go to the governor's office to be signed for a law. So there's a big process. In that process, there's a lot of time for us to actually get involved. So this bill has not gone to committee yet. We could actually, once it is scheduled for committee, we can actually go in and see when it's being scheduled, and we can write a testimony. We could go to and testify for the bill, but it all depends on when it's coming. So that's the other thing, is the committees that are the most important part. So let's look at the Senate committees. There are certain committees that most of our bills are involved in. So on the Senate side, we have the Senate Health and Human Services for senior citizens. Well, budget's always important. So you'll see the budgets, but most of our bills aren't there first. So we want to go to, see, Senate Health and Human Services. But like most of our bills will go through this or Judiciary. So this is our chair, Joseph Vitalis. And that's always important when we're calling legislators. It's great to be able to say, like, they want to hear from constituents. So if your legislator is here, that's in, part of this committee, it's very powerful for you to make the phone call. But even if they aren't, if this bill went to a committee and your legislator is not on it and not a co-sponsor, and you've made a call to say, we want you to co-sponsor this committee is really who holds the key to the bill going further. So we can still make phone calls to all these legislators, whether you're a constituent in that county or not. So here's the information on Joe Vitale, Senator Vitale, who is one of our supporters. So he is somebody that we do work with quite frequently. And you can see in here, he's a list of bills he sponsored. And then you can see it by bill or by subject. So this is a very important committee for us. Back. And also the Judicial Committee. Just so you know, too, when a bill is coming up and you want to send a testimony or you have something that you want to get to the legislators in this committee, you can reach out to the committee aides. There's phone numbers. There's also email addresses. You can reach out to the committee aides. We don't often get much time to to testify. We like usually it's about 2 to 3 days notice that we get. So you have to kind of watch what's going on, when they're actually holding the meetings, and then what bills are actually being seen. So let's see. If you let's go into the Senate committees and we'll go back to the same bill. We can see their schedule. Here is their schedule. This is when they're having meetings. So they're not having, the next one they have is February 3rd. These are all the bills. So if there's something here you're interested in, you can just get onto that bill, look to see it, and you can tell somebody if you want to submit a testimony or be there for testifying. It is best if you can be there in person, but it's very difficult for people to get there in time. So this is important information. Looking at that schedule is important. But like I said, there's not much time. We don't get much notice about these meetings. The other thing that we can look at is, let's look at the bills again. We can actually find out, we can follow a bill. It's a free service, a bill subscription. This is really important and really keeps you up on things. So if you want to follow bills and have this bill subscription, you can click here to log on. This gives me every bill that I'm following. And so every time something's happening with that bill, I get an email telling me something's happening with the bill. Sometimes you get notice a little bit late on this, and there is a paid service that advocacy organizations use that gives you a little bit more notice. A lot of times it's just a relationship with a legislator who might reach out and say, hey, we're putting this bill to committee, and this is the meeting time if you're interested. So that relationship you have with your legislator, if they're in a committee, is really important because you will be given more notice. You can go through all of this and you can see all the different things. You can see the voting records. The bill searches are very interesting too because you can go through keywords. We can go through mental health. And here are all the bills that are out there right now. And then just click on whatever you want. And when you look at here, you'll see there's an identical bill number. So I suggest just kind of scrolling around the website to see anything you're interested in. Don't be afraid to reach out to legislators. This is the leadership. So that's there as well. So who's in charge. And don't be afraid to make a phone call. Like I said, even if you're not in the district, if they're in a committee and you don't have representation in that committee, you should be reaching out to them. And basically, that is how you get around the website. It's fairly simple, and it will keep you up to date. If you have any questions, contact us on the website. And there we go. It said you can, if you're not already on our list to get information, sign up here. You can also contact me, TAHERN at ncar.org. We have just so you know that NCAR does have free trainings. We do a training on advocacy. So if you're interested in, a group getting trained or individual, you have something individually that you'd like to get trained on, please give us a call or email us and we'll be happy to work with you. And we do, put together different trainings. So it doesn't have to be all the same kind of training. If you want to do something unique, we'll work with you. So thank you. And I hope this was helpful.